Good morning, welcome to the Over 40s Fitness Podcast. My name's Tristan Lowe. It's Friday the 19th of April 2024 and my guest today is none other than Scott Perry, magician extraordinaire. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning.
How you doing, sir?
Really well. It's a bright spring morning. So
Yeah.
I can't complain.
All right, well, good. Welcome to our centre then. It's good to see you again. Just a little fun fact: I've met Scott on a couple of occasions in Lincoln at different events and business clubs, and Scott was kind enough to also provide his services for my dad's 80th birthday party last summer, in which I got a little glimpse of what Scott does as a professional magician. Right, first things first. Just to explain to our viewers, are you classed as a magician?
Yes, so there are two real classifications. One is an illusionist, one is a magician. An illusionist typically is someone who does grand illusions on stage. Someone who, cuts people in half, someone who makes lions and tigers appear and disappear. And then I would be classed as a magician, which predominantly is, for me, performing close to magic tricks around tables or drinks receptions, at weddings, at corporate events, as you say, birthday parties, all kinds of things like this. Night affairs, just casually entertaining everyone.
Sure. Okay. Gotcha. Okay. Well, I found this when I saw your work. It's typical. Is it a customer thing or is it a man thing where we try and see how you do these tricks? Is it something where every bloke thinks he can work out how you've done it? I don't often hear women or girls or trying to figure it out. They just generally, I've seen them to be wowed by it, whereas I can't help myself but figure, how did he do that?
Yeah, so there's a bit of psychology that goes into this, which I guess, when we're talking about health and conditioning and getting the right nutrients and all of these kind of things, especially, as you say, with the coming up to 40, making sure you're in good shape, it's also good to make sure that you're in good shape mentally as well as physically. So there's a lot psychologically that goes on with magic. And there's research that suggests that women are more emotionally attracted to magic. So they find it interesting, they find it captivating, as you say. They're not really interested in why or how it works. They're just interested in enjoying something fun. Whereas men have this I think is often referred to as the inner chimp in their mind, and it's when they see a younger man, a man who's dressed well, who particularly if other women are engaging with someone like myself, men see that as a threat.
Oh, really? Interesting.
Subconsciously or consciously. And then obviously there are other thoughts of, I'm going to try to catch him out so that I can satisfy myself, and I don't feel below him. And a magician, of course, should never make someone feel below them. But there's some psychology in there around the mental thought process of viewing and watching a magician.
I think I could see how that would work as well. Is it built into us to try and figure how things work and try and take things apart, put them back together again, either physically or in our head? I'm like that. I always like to know how things are done, even down to, if I get on a plane, I want to know about the engineering of the plane, not so I know it all, but I'm just fascinated with how things are done. I don't know if that's a Tristan thing, a personal trainer thing, or a man thing. Okay, right, so you're a magician. Did you say you're coming up 40? What's your age now?
36.
In 36,
I'll be 37 next month.
Hey, hold on to 36. Okay, well, when you come up to 40, little fun fact, I'm 53 now, so I've just got a few years on you. Do the math, and our bodies do generally deteriorate as we age. Now, but we also know if we put things into play, if we put those healthy deposits into our body at a young age, in theory, practice, and then the actual process of doing it, the outcome is our bodies and our brains our minds will last longer. All right, so as a magician, all right, okay. Is most of your work done standing up or sat down?
For me, it's mostly stood up. And that poses some health concerns in terms of posture. So posture is a big issue for many magicians, especially magicians who perform in the capacity that I do. Because we spend the majority of our time leaning over tables. Especially if there's a live band or if there's any kind of musician or a singer or something like that. Often people can be hard of hearing, so we're leaning in,
Right.
and there's a lot of this.
Yeah.
And it's forward head posture or something like this that needs correcting. So it does the kinds of magic that flow club magicians like myself do. There are some issues with posture in doing that.
Right. Okay. So would that we possibly class that as a form of repetitive strain injury, RSI, repetitive strain injury. In other words, you get musculoskeletal disorders or symptoms that come from the line of work that you do, and the regularity of your work and how we. So, in example, when you mentioned your head comes forward, the head weighs up to about a stone, that's 14 pounds, and the head's a heavy weight. You've got a mass and a space. The neck is a space, the head's a mass, the body's a mass again, but that space in between, and your neck, your cervical spine, the top of your spine, as the head pulls forward, you'll get a curvature of the cervical spine. And then in some people, I found more women than men, but if you work on both sides, that musculoskeletal disorder mixed with hormone imbalances can give you what we call like a buffalo hump on the base of the neck here, where you get a build-up of tissue that sits. It's quite an unsightly thing to see as well. It's very hard to correct. You see people on the internet talking about how to actually fix it. It's very hard to fix it. What you can do is either prevent it or manage it. Yeah, okay. Now you mentioned as well, you're leaning in next to people, you're having to sometimes, are you working in close confined spaces if you've got 10 people around you where you can't make quick global movements?
Often, yes. So it can be quite restricted, and then we'll come on to this, but there's of course lots of mental arithmetic that goes on during magic tricks. There's lots of, it's a very process heavy thing to deliver.
Yeah.
There's many things going on. So often what happens is magicians, including myself, will forget about keeping good posture.
Right, yeah.
Because we've got so much that we're thinking about. Is this person engaging? Is that person drifting away?
Yeah.
Did that person say something? Do they want to pick a card? All of these kinds of things. There's such a flexible performance arts that health often comes as a secondary thought.
Gotcha. I suppose yes, it's in the same way that a builder is going to get the job done, a gardener is just going to get the job done, but he's often he's going to hurt his back at some point in the stage, you know, or his hips or his neck, or you know. So I think you say that because I was watching you work one time. I saw how you sort of weaved and meandered your way around people, but with very subtle movements as well. Do you have to? I'm just going to guess. As part of what you do you have to read body language and signs from your? What do you call them? I call my line of work. We call them clients. What's yours? Clients, customers?
Well, the person who hired me is a client.
Gotcha.
Everyone else is just a guest.
Gotcha. A client who hires you, and the guests they brought with them, or that they.
Exactly.
Okay, so when you're working around your guests and clients, are you looking for body language from them, the person that you're actually working with, or are you also looking around to see little tells and signs of how people work?
Absolutely. So there's all the peripheral vision that's going on.
Yes.
I might be performing for a group of people just there, and I see people looking over, and I see people kind of wanting to get into a little bit of what's going on.
Yeah.
So I'll try and remember that, and I'll remember, oh, I saw you looking over. Sally over there said I should come over to you.
Yeah.
So yes, there's a lot of mental stress. And as I say, it's a very process-heavy performance art to deliver, and that subsequently is why a lot of the physical health gets pushed to the side.
Yeah,
you have so much going on.
Interesting. Yeah, I've got Lee coming from the 70s and 80s. I've got this thing in my head when I think of magician or illusionist. I don't know what they're. I always think, let's take the household one that everyone knew in the 70s and 80s. Paul Daniels. I thought this tiny little fella who knows all these tricks and whatnot, and he always got glamorous women as well for a little fella. I thought, well, good on him. You know, magic. He must know a trick that I don't know. But the next thing I think of are they illusionists? The world famous Siegfried and Roy.
Yes. So Siegfried and Roy would be classed as illusionist.
Okay. And they were always in Vegas making tigers disappear. And then I think of David Copperfield, because I think in the late 80s, I think he made a plane disappear on stage or something like that.
Yes, I think most famously he made the Statue of Liberty disappear.
Crikey, yeah.
And there was another one. He walked through the Great Wall of China.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So there were a couple of really big, crazy illusions that he accomplished.
All right, and of course, then I think of in the sort of 90s up until now, I think of Penn and Teller. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of double act, you know, the Royal Silver, what have you. And I always think of Which is the one that was a big, heavy, thick guy with the ponytail? He had like, and then there's a little fella who never spoke.
Yes, so Teller is the smaller one, the shorter one who doesn't speak, and then Penn Gillette is the taller, bigger, built guy.
Are they cool with us now?
Yes, I actually, they invited me down to London to see their shows last summer.
Yeah, that's what made me think of Penn and Teller again, because I used to watch it and think, yeah, I get it. It's not just the actual magic tricks or the illusions, it's also, there was an element of, a separate element of entertainment in the way that one was, and fun fact, he's not actually new, is he?
No, no, he's actually a very intelligent, very charismatic person.
Yeah. Okay. Would you regard in your line of work as the world's top magician now in terms of, not in terms of his income or her income and exposure, but actually what they can do?
That's a difficult one because in terms of the skill set of a magician, there's so many different needs that are met depending on the event.
Yeah.
There's one magician who I absolutely adore.
Yep.
He's also in fleet condition as well.
Yeah. David Blaine.
No, well, yes, David Blaine is one of the hardest working, one of the most talented magicians there has ever been.
Oh, he's an athlete as well.
Exactly. I don't know. I think he calls himself an endurance athlete.
Yeah.
So of course there's an extreme amount of conditioning that he goes through. I remember he broke the Guinness World Record at one point a few years ago for holding his breath.
Yeah.
And it was something like 17.5 minutes.
How? Well.
And that's done through something called static apnea. But he went out to, I think it was Seychelles, and he trained with basically the natives to, when they're young children, they go diving, and they're free diving. I think they have some flippers with them, but no apparatus to breathe. And they're diving down 20, 30 meters at 10 years old for pearls and things like that.
Incredible. And sorry, Scott, sorry to interrupt you. I kind of on way later there. You were about to mention about a magician who's considered.
Yes. So one of my favourites is a guy called John Steiner. Not terribly famous, but fantastic magician, and also keeps in good shape. Is a good representation of a healthy magician.
That's the future then, do you think it is?
Yeah. Definitely. I think, of course, people are becoming more and more aware of their health and how important health is, how important sleep is, how important all of these things where years ago, when you were growing up, and certainly when I was growing up, people said, sleep less and work harder. Which is not necessarily the healthiest thing for your body and your mind.
It's hard to claim that as well. All right, give us an example of what you do. Okay, first thing in the morning, what's your breakfast? Do you have breakfast?
Yes.
What was your breakfast today?
So today it was a wheaty. I had a wheaty cereal because today I was in a rush. Typically I might have something like porridge with bananas slices on top, so only on that. And then over the last 2, 3, 4 months, I've been using greens. So in addition to whatever food I'll be having, I always have some kind of fruits in there. Some kind of natural organic fruits. And then I tried to have some wheat or some oats or some sort of slow release form of energy.
Right, so you've got slow release of energy, carbohydrate, and you've got some kind of fruits for your fibre, and again the carbohydrate and vitamins. There's something missing from that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I don't mean, in my opinion, we're talking about nutrition-wise, okay? And that's a sort of protein, a good source of protein. And the classic one in the morning is eggs. It's considered the best source of protein, eggs. I think number 2 is possibly steak, but not eggs. Okay, so there are about 6 to 7 grams of protein in an egg. How big is an egg? We know. If it says medium edge large in the shop, you're going to get 6 to 7, maybe 7.5 grams of protein per egg. I eat about up to 24, sometimes 30 eggs in a week. And I have my cholesterol readings done every year, and they're always very good. Always good. So eggs are good for our cholesterol. They are a great source of protein and vitamins as well. It's like a bit of carbohydrate in it as well. So what I would suggest, once in a blue moon, to start with. I mean, is there a day that you have that? If we're doing on your own, with your girlfriend, is there a day when you sit down and have almost like a meal, like some people have fry-outs or cook breakfast on a Saturday or Sunday?
No, not really. But saying about eggs, every now and then, whenever there's time, and whenever I still like it, basically, I love kind of the slow scrambled egg. I'll cut up some fresh spring onion, some peppers, throw that in there, cook that up nice and slow, and then serve that on something like a bagel, something like that. So, but obviously that's not something that I'm doing often.
Right, okay. It's actually, if you've got time, why don't we say to someone, if you've got time, what keeps us in good condition? Yes, it's sleep. Yes, genetical sleep, but also what we've got in our body. Okay, people who know me through my line of work, they know that they'll ask me what's the most important meal of the day. And I used to think it was breakfast. And I'd say, it's your next meal. Okay, your next meal, from now to when you're 95 years of age, the next meal is the most important meal of the day. Yes, I explain to clients, there's no point having a healthy breakfast if you skip lunch or have an unhealthy lunch and have an unhealthy evening meal, and vice versa. There's bookends. Some people will have a breakfast, but often, if they do, it is carbohydrate heavy. And unless your line of work is an endurance where you're working outdoors all day, you're on your feet all day, you're lifting, carrying, sleep, whatever, I would say mix that full source of carbohydrate, get some protein into it as well. And there's loads of sources of the morning, but you're right, time is of the essence as well. And that's why some people take on protein supplements. All right.
Well, before you go to the next point, another thing that I quite frequently have, which is a form of protein, is a few pieces of beef jerky.
Okay. Oh yeah, crikey. Yeah, I've tried to eat that. Yeah. I tried it once. I didn't go back to it, but you can buy them in shops there, the little packing whatever you have day, or Bill or whatever you call it.
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. So the next thing then, when you're working out away from home, you're going out to a guest or a client's venue. What do you do to keep your blood sugar levels balanced so that you can focus? Do you bring a lunch with you, or do you eat where you actually at the establishment?
So this is really difficult, and this isn't something that's exclusive to magicians. There are many jobs like this, but it is a very big problem getting the right nutrition.
Yeah.
Because traveling 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and then being at an event, and I never know what kind of venue I'm going to turn up to.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I never know what kind of rush or situation there will be there. Sometimes with certain clients, certain bookings, certain events, yes, beforehand I will ask them if they can provide food, depending on how far the travel is as well.
Yeah.
But recently, as in probably the last couple of years, I've been trying Fuel now.
Yeah, okay.
Which I've asked you about before.
Yeah.
So that basically, when instead of eating some fast food that typically is high sugar, you're gonna burn that up really quickly. It's not going to give you energy for very long.
We go up and down quick.
Exactly. I tried to supplement that with taking a bottle of Fuel. And that so far is the best option that I found.
Great. Okay.
But that is quite a difficult thing to find the right nutrition.
Yeah. Sure.
While traveling, and also most of the time I'll be driving, not on a train or not on some passive thing where I can eat lunch or eat a meal.
Yes, 100% concentration there.
Yes.
And then the same again when you're actually working with your guests and your clients.
Exactly.
I've learned as a trainer that the mental energy that we put in, that we're being paid for as well. That client could be with us for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. And whilst they care, equally they don't care what happens either side of that.
Yes.
It's not that they're uncaring, but that's not their concern. And I'll explain to new trainers and new massage therapists, look, if you've got a client at 8 o'clock in the morning, but you've also got one at 6 o'clock at night, you need to learn how to manage your energy levels. So when John comes in at 6 o'clock at night to have his hand trimmed, worked on, he wants the best quality service from you. And when Jill comes in at 8 o'clock the next morning, and you're there ready for her, we need to give the best service. So we have to manage our energy levels because we're giving our physical energy with clients. Now, an example, I had three men in last night, 3 guys in last night, and we were doing pad work, boxing work as well, and 1 woman as well. And it's an hour of energy. Now, granted, it didn't take a lot of energy for me because I wasn't actually doing it, but I went on the pads a couple of times, and it's no big deal. But if you're doing that 6 or 7 times a day, give me an example. Have you done more than 1 client in 1 day?
Yes, happens regularly.
Okay, all right. So you might go to 2 establishments, an hour away from each other, or?
Yeah, it could be more. One could be in the morning or in the early afternoon, at luncheon or something like that. Here it goes to an evening event, which of course is very difficult on those kind of days to find time to get good nutrition.
Interesting. I wonder if is there any kind of metric or evidence to show that a professional magician, that his or her standard of service or excellence, could diminish at a certain point in the day or a certain point during the working week. What's your thoughts on that?
I highly doubt there's any research or statistic. Magic is quite a niche profession, but absolutely it would affect the ability of a magician to deliver, especially at the high level that professionalism that I deliver services.
Yeah.
You have to be, it's like being a comedian on stage. You have to be at the top of your game.
Yeah.
You have to, linguistically, behaviorally, you have to treat everyone in a way that, however your character is, whether you're playing some outrageous character, I don't have a character, I am just me.
Yeah, sure.
And that's what people hire me for. But I still have to treat people well and professionally, and I'm also very interested in people. I'm a very inquisitive person.
Yeah, it's good that. I find that's quite a good trait to have, Scott.
But that takes a lot of energy.
It does,
to ask questions, to want to speak to people, and then I'm also working as well. So, part of my job as a magician is to get everyone talking.
Gotcha. Yeah.
So I have to try to balance that line of not exerting too much of my energy on non-work activities.
Could a guest or a client, could he or she spot if you're low on energy, or because they don't know you personally before they might have made a phone call, they might have even met you prior to the event, but could or she spot if you're either low on energy or there's something's not physically right with you, if considering they don't actually know you?
I think so. It certainly happens to me, and I know I've seen it with a few other magicians over the years. Every now and then there's a really big event with 700 people, 1,000 people, and they have multiple magicians.
Yeah.
And I definitely see magicians, kind of slouching up on a corner on their arm, and you can see physically.
And that's not part of the act; they're just tired.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, to give you an idea of I've done that myself, where I've had a client in at 6, 7 o'clock at night, and I know after that there was something missing in that appointment that I could have actually made better, or actually taken out of the appointment, or taken from the client in terms of a particular exercise, or the way that we actually the way that we converse during it. Sometimes if a client notices that in me, I've had that said. I've had a client say to me, "Crikey, Tristan, you need to take a week off." Unfortunately, not often, but I have it, and I take that as really good feedback. Yeah. They don't expect us to be doing cartwheels and backflips, but equally they don't expect us to be lying on the floor, faced up, with a cup of cocoa when they come through the door. It'd be nice, but okay. What do you do then to keep your body physically fit and aside from good sleep and hopefully good nutrition 80% of the time? What do you do in terms of exercise to look after your body?
I think what I'm called is an endomorphic.
Yeah, that's your body type, somatic type.
Yeah, so I'm I have a very high metabolism.
Yeah. Do you know how you got that?
I presume the only way is genetics, but I have no idea.
Right, well, I'll give you a little heads up on that. High metabolism isn't something we're born with. There's always a mum at a school game or a dad at a football pitch that will say, "My son's got high metabolism, he's born with it, he got it off me." Okay, that's not true. Metabolism is dictated by the amount of quality muscle mass in the body, because muscle's hungry. It's a hungry element in the body. Muscle needs fuel, a lot of fuel. So someone who is narrow-boned, that has got a high level of internal muscle mass, not big bulging visible hypertrophy muscles. So someone like yourself, someone like me, that are built for movement and sport. At 53, I've still got quite high muscle mass, and you'll probably be higher if I slept even more. Your metabolism is dictated by the amount of internal muscle mass and the amount of movement throughout the day. Now, granted, the food that you eat as well, but it's not actually a genetic trait. We're not born with high metabolism. Your metabolism can drop in the next 4 weeks if you completely change your lifestyle. If you start eating more fat and more processed food and sugar and stop moving, because your muscles then, they're going to start to diminish and they won't need that energy anymore. All right, okay, so your particular body type, you can burn calories quick, even though you are stepped down a lot.
Yes.
So what do you do to keep the body strong?
So for me, it's always been body weight exercises. Great. It's always. I actually watched this week. I watched your video about body weight exercises.
Okay, cool. Yep.
And it's always good, I think, to see new exercises, to make sure you're doing everything properly. Make sure you're not doing any damage when you're exercising.
Yeah.
So for me, it's much like that video, which I believe that video can be found on YouTube, on your YouTube.
That's right, yep.
Which I think is a really useful video if you're new to bodyweight exercises. So for me, it's press ups, it's star jumps, jumping jacks.
Yeah, but yeah, they're quite ballistic exercise. If you've got good joint integrity, tissue tolerance we call them, then star jumps, heel kicks, burpees, they're ballistic. They go from aerobic into a threshold of anaerobic, meaning eventually you'd run out of breath nearly, but you'd still be moving.
Yes.
So if someone can do a burpees or a star jump or a jumping jack or something like that, and they can do it well, eventually it will feel like they are absolutely exhausted, and it won't just be aerobically, it will be anaerobically as well. You know, the movement in absence of oxygen eventually. All right, so bodyweight exercises, do you do them at home or do you go to a gym or health club?
Generally at home. Yep. During summertime, when the weather's good, which in the UK is about 5 days a year, in the garden. Get that fresh air in my lungs.
I like doing that.
And if we're lucky, a little bit of sun on the skin. And maybe on days like that, the garden is reasonable. So I'll do some, the beat tests. So run from back and forth.
Okay.
Maybe do a few sets of those.
Sure. Excellent.
So generally, fairly light exercises.
Yeah. But done well.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've always tried to implement throughout my life. I grew up with very poor nutrition.
Sure. Yeah.
My parents owned a business, a news agent, and basically all of my young life and early adulthood was spent eating sweets.
Same in the 70s, yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Before there was so much research done on preservatives and additives and numbers and all of these things. So I think that my tiredness throughout school and my lack of ability to concentrate and things like this was not because I was stupid or disengaged or anything like that. It was because my body was starved of energy.
Oh, exactly. I would say that that is a really good point to consider. You get out of your body what you put into it.
Yes.
Like a lot of things in life. All right. Okay. Bodyweight exercises. They're a great way to train, and again, like I mentioned it in my podcast, which you've fortunately seen already. I think I only did it a couple of days ago, that one.
Yeah, do it this week.
There's so many benefits to bodyweight exercise. You think about gymnasts, martial artists, combat athletes, track and field athletes, dancers, swimmers. Because swimmer is a bodyweight exercise. Yes, borderline non-weight bearing, but it's still their own body weight that they've got to keep up in the water. All right, okay. Sleep. Tell me where you sleep. How many hours a night are you sleeping, roughly?
I have always slept a good night's sleep, 9 hours.
Wow, I'm jealous. Yeah.
Depending on if I'm tired, maybe up towards the 9.5, 10 hours. Sometimes it can be 7.5, 8 hours, but typically I would say on average you're looking at 9 hours.
Yeah, that's really good. So that's just right. Just to kind of make it clear, this is something that we talk about with our clients upon the consultation, but also throughout their training journey. You can exercise well, you can eat well, you can stay mobile throughout the day, but if you've got persistent poor sleep, and it's not the same as insomnia, I had a client who came in not long ago who's diagnosed herself as an insomniac, and I said, you've actually got to look at that. What's happened is you've got erratic sleep patterns because of X, Y, and Z, insert the reason after. That doesn't make you an insomniac. All right, so but the complete opposite, someone like yourself who can sleep 9 hours plus, that's really good, crikey. I would say I would give up 10% of my good nutrition that I have. So I'm good nutrition 90% of the time, maybe on a bad week, 85% of the time. I would go down to myself, if I could track it, 75% good nutrition throughout my life for an extra half an hour to an hour sleep. Yeah, I'd take about 6.5 hours. And I can function on it. I've always think, I could adjust on an extra. But what I've learned is at the moment, I've got the curtains open in my bedroom that I sleep in because I want the natural light flushing in. But about a month from now, the blackout curtains will go up because it will get to a point where it's getting light at 5 a.m. And what I want is just that little bit of extra sleep. So your sleep's really important for you as Scott Perry, the man, but also in your line of work.
Yes.
Have you ever gone to a job where you get to a client to work when you've not slept well and you've not eaten well?
Yes, I think so. There's certainly been some times where I can remember I've physically and mentally struggled, both from being hungry, exhaustion. It might be the fact that also I've been stuck in traffic on the way there, which has added to the stress. And then that's meant that I wasn't able to stop to eat and things like this. So absolutely I've been. But I think also my profession is quite unique. I imagine most people watching this won't have the luxury that I have.
Sure.
You know, I work predominantly in the late afternoon, early evening. So the first part of my day generally is quite relaxed.
Yeah.
It's waking up, it's getting a little bit of sunlight on my skin and a little bit of fresh air in my lungs.
Love it. It's great.
And then maybe replying to some email and creating some things,
Yeah.
and publishing some things on social media is very relaxed. Whereas other people, maybe like yourself, coming here for training, you have to deliver that. And if the client is coming here at 9 a.m.,
Yeah, or 8 a.m.
Exactly, you have to be up at 6 a.m.
Yeah, that's right. To get all my food in, get all my calories in,
Exactly.
do some of the things you've done. I do it myself. You know, I go for walks.
So I am quite aware that I'm in a position of luxury
Yeah.
in terms of my time, and that I'm able to sleep that long.
Yeah.
Not everyone has that luxury.
You're right. I would say the majority of people don't. If you look at it, look at Scott as a magician and myself as a personal trainer. We both are self-employed. We both work for ourselves, and it's really important that we look after our physical and mental health. First off, just for ourselves, as Scott and Tristan, or John and Jill around the corner, and then secondly, for our clients or our guests or people we work with. You mentioned a fortunate position. I find it very fortunate that I get to choose who I work with.
Yeah.
I can count on 2 or 3 fingers when I've actually had to turn a client that way after the consultation process, or actually at some point into training for whatever reason. But we're talking 1 in 100, and that's a very fortunate position for me to be in, to be able to work like that. With that being said, then, have you ever turned down a potential client after talking with them, emailing, or even meeting them prior to the event when you thought that's not the right customer, client or guest for me?
Maybe, but not for a long time.
Okay.
I don't think. I think there comes a point when you become established. You know, we've not mentioned this, but I provided entertainment for the royal family on adult occasions. And,
Yeah, so you worked with, was it Prince Charles? Or was it
yeah,
King Charles?
it was before he became King Charles. So Prince Charles, I've done various events for him. I've done events for lords, ladies,
Wow.
barons,
Yeah.
baronesses, and then lots of interesting entrepreneurs and just successful people, interesting people.
Yeah.
So for me, I don't get many inquiries like that. Sure, that I would say, look, you're not the right person for me, or the right client for me. This is not the right job. The only time typically that happens is if someone inquires about any kind of event, but they kind of direct me towards, oh, the children will love it, because I'm not a children's entertainer.
I got you. Okay, right.
That's a different skill set.
I got you. Right. The reason I asked that because I felt that is being knowing when to say no in our profession is also part of our own physical well-being.
Yes.
I had a client, a successful businessman that was a client of mine. He said it as well, and he said to me that phrase once. He goes, "Learn when to say no as well." And I've slowly started to actually implement that in a lot of things to look after my own physical and mental health, and then let's say even emotional health as well. The art of saying no. That's been put to me actually, I think by more than one client, and I take it as a very good advice, because of the particular 2 individuals that have mentioned it to me. I know them, and so I take their word as, if not 100%, gospel, but it's coming from a good source as well.
Yes.
And it comes with age and experience. So, okay, if an example was, I had a client ask if I could train him at 6:30 in the morning, and I said, well, no, I'm still in bed at 6:30 in the morning. We open at 8. I can train you at 8. And I know this gentleman as well, and we tried at 8 o'clock in the morning, but it turned out it was too late in the day for him. And he found a trainer that would get out of bed and train him at 6:30 in the morning. I might have done that 10, 15 years ago, but not now, because it's not worth the financial exchange, because it would be detriment to my own physical health. If he offered to pay me double the hour, I still would have said, unfortunately, I'm not available. And I've learned that in time. As I've aged, that working with the right people.
I think that's a really important point as well when it comes to nutrition, when it comes to health, when it comes to exercising. It's not about squeezing it in.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about at the end of your working day saying, oh no, I need to go play squash for an hour, I need to do this, I need to do that. It's about creating a lifestyle that is a healthy one.
Yeah.
That allows you these times.
Yeah.
Not trying to pressure yourself to do it, because when you start to create that mental pressure in whether it's eating or whether it's exercise, the nutrition and the exercise that you then do is not as good quality.
You're utilising it as well. And going on just saying functional rather than actually adapting and using it. Okay. All right. Give an example. 10 years from now, yep, you are hopefully your Scott Perry has the services, the company, the wow factor or whatever has got bigger and it's even better. How do you get there?
In
10 years from now, you'll be what, 46?
yes.
Yeah, okay. So what do you need to do for yourself to make sure 10 years from now, physiologically, you're still in good shape?
I think most people like yourself would agree with this. It's all about consistency.
Yes, yep.
It's not about getting that summer body. It's not about having the off season during winter and having all the high calorie, the pizzas, the all of the greasy foods. I live quite a healthy life.
Yeah.
I drink. I don't add sugar to anything.
Correct.
Literally anything. I don't have teas or coffees with sugar. I don't have coffee with milk.
Yeah.
I have milk in a few things.
Yeah, sure.
I will have porridge.
Cereal, probably.
Well, cereal I substitute real milk or cow's milk for almond milk.
Yep.
I like to make sure that I'm getting lots of different kinds of nutrition from lots of different food groups.
Yeah.
So I think in 10 years' time, for me to be able to continue delivering the services that I deliver at a high quality, where it's sharp and I'm still healthy, it's just about these, what I would call platic, maybe like caveman exercises.
Yeah.
Make sure I'm moving. I also, I did mention this earlier, yes, I predominantly do bodyweight exercises, those kinds of bodyweight resistance, but I have a kettlebell, have a couple of light dumbbells, and I think they're 5 or 7 kilograms each.
Just somatic resistance.
Exactly, just to get that resistance. Because without that, the bodyweight exercises are good, and all of the other, the jumping jacks and the anaerobic exercises are good as well, but you need some resistance. Even thousands, millions of years ago, humans needed that resistance.
Right.
And even, as children, they would play fights to get that resistance and to get that excursion of energy, because we get a build-up of things in our body without that. So for me, I think looking over the next 10 years, from 36 to 46, it's just maintaining those small things.
Great, yeah. I think you're right. I'd agree with that. Small things done consistently and done well, rather than big exotic things that we do for a few weeks. Get freeze body, getting in shape for somebody else's wedding. I find that a very strange thing. Someone who wants to lose weight because their friend is getting married. I find that a really strange concept, but I get it. And we get clients who are like, my friend's getting married, I want to look good on my friend's wedding day. I'm like, hang on, well, you want to look good for yourself, but it's fine. Okay, right, off topic now. Okay, one word answers. Now I'm going to ask you 3 questions. Okay, and you've got just to know, you can see it, Scott's got no idea what I'm going to ask him. Okay, what's your favourite all-time movie?
Oh.
One word answer.
The Mighty Ducks.
The Mighty Ducks?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could work with one client or guest, okay, who would it be?
Alive or dead?
Yep, dead or alive, yep.
So many good. Let's go for Orson Welles.
Crikey, yes, you've got to rule it. Mighty Ducks to Orson Welles. They really are putting them out of the bag. Third and final one. Okay. What other professional career would you do? If you could press a button tomorrow morning, you wake up and you're that, what would it be?
One word. Okay. Lego builder.
No,
the Lego have professional.
Yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, there's a guy in Lincoln who's quite good at it. I don't know if he's a profession, but
well, Lego hire I don't know how many exactly.
World championships or something.
Well, no, they go to if let's say Ferrari want an installation of a Ferrari made out of Lego.
Yeah,
they send professional.
Like ice sculptors who would do Lego.
Exactly. So that would be the top.
Mighty Ducks, Orson Welles, professional Lego builder. Okay, now that tells me that there's a quirk in you somewhere, you know what I mean? But whatever your answers are, the right answers, because they're your answers, you know what I mean? So, all right, what we'd like to do, I'm going to wrap up this podcast now. It's been a pleasure of mine bringing Scott into his valuable time, coming into our centre. And at some point in the future, I'd like to bring Scott in again and actually progress the conversation about what he does. My name's Strickland. The podcast is The Over 40s Fitness. So we're on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google and Apple Podcasts. This is Scott Perry. Scott, tell them the name of your company and where they can find you.
So everything online is at Scott Perry Magic. So the website is www.scottperrymagic.com, and then all of the social media is just at Scott Perry Magic.
Okay, I can actually just give you that little backup as well. I personally watched Scott work at my dad's 80th birthday party, and it's very interesting, you know. And again, it must be a bloke thing. I went home that night and I said to my girlfriend, "How did he do that? How did he do that? How did he do that?" And she and I think and my sister and my niece, and they were all like, "I don't know, I just enjoyed it," you know. So, Scott, thanks for coming in, sir.
Thank you for having me.
And we'll catch up again soon.
Yes.
Please like, subscribe and share. And if you're in the Lincolnshire or the Greater Lincoln area or anywhere in the UK and you want to hire a very fine magician for your show, Scott Perry. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Till the next time.